I got you, Grace. A lot going on. Good Merton. Good Merton. Grand Risen. Grand Risen. All right. Okay, so today we are still in transcending inconsistencies. And the part that we're in are lessons in imperfection. And we're talking about the path. Today, we're talking about the path to self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment. Go ahead, Miss Gracie May.
Before you get started, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, if you have not gotten your tickets, I implore you, I encourage you, I beseech you, okay?
My brother.
Roll, okay? Hey, get your ticket. Get your ticket for Exploring Alignment, August 17th. That is not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Okay. We want to make sure you are in the place. Okay. You do not want to miss this event. Okay.
Trust me, y'all. You don't want to miss it.
You do not want to miss this event. And if you know somebody that like, you know what, this person needs this event, let me just go on and gift them a ticket or whatever, or have them pay you back, do something, but get them here to this event. And I know some people who are working and say, man, I can't make it, so I won't be able to go. You can still get you a ticket now while it's $49, because you will be able to keep the recording for life. Even if you can't make the live, you can keep the recording, go back and take a look at all of the epicness that will be happening. And get your tickets now, because in 1 week, it goes up to $97. Now, if you want to wait and pay $97, we will not be mad at you. However, we know that everyone loves the discount, okay? So get it at full price now of $49 before it becomes full price of $97. Okay, I'm done.
No, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And trust me, you want to be there. Don't wait until the day of and pay $97 for your video. If you won't be able to make it, go ahead, pay your $47 now, your $49 now. So that way, if you can't make, as my dad said, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
And speaking of that, Deanna.
Yes, sir.
Riding that same energy that Grace is on, if you haven't gotten your ATS leads, let me tell you something, folks. I was on vacation for my anniversary, and I got my first set. I got my second set. I wasn't able to open them up until this morning. And I'm going to tell you how I felt. If you ever see this example about the kid sitting on the lawn, trying to drink out the water hose, and it's on high, I say, what the? So if you haven't gotten your ATS leads, you cheating yourself. I'm telling you right now, I'm sitting there going, hada. And the person that's going to help me with them, they don't even know I got them. I'm like, so get your stuff. Get your stuff. I'm just saying, being Grace jumped out there, with the Assembly of Wonders, because I signed up for that, got money. Folks, stop playing. Get that money off the table. Thank you.
Come on, y'all. Come on, Uncle Romy, bro. Come on, Uncle Romy, bro. Y'all, let me tell you something. I am the excitement that I feel. I have not only am I sending out leads, but I'm also a client. I'm also a client, because when I tell y'all the stuff that me and Antonio talked about this weekend, the things that he challenged me to do, let me tell y'all something. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm excited about it. And I will be utilizing ATS leads just to share light, just to share the light and draw them in. So get your leads. Because trust me, Uncle Romy Rome ain't the only one who got his. Trust me, he ain't the only one. It was a very productive weekend. He ain't the only one. Okay, so Grace, if you can do me a favor after this, before you come here, if you can reach out to Talisha for me, because she asked a question. about ATS leads, if you can break it down for, well, no, let's do it here. So what ATS leads is, once it's $49 a month, but you get 10,000 leads a month, 10,000 specifically catered to you leads. And with these leads, you can do whatever you want with them. What I recommend you do, if it was me, is I would get with, until Rhino Leg is fully released, I would go to like MailChimp or something and create I forgot, a segmentation specifically for the leads that you're doing. Like for me, when I send out my leads, I'm going to segment them based on how I'm sending them out. So if I'm sending leads out, and we pull them based on hashtags and keywords that are specific to you, your company, your organization, your brand. So Talisha, I will 10,000 high quality leads customized for you every month. So like for you, Talisha, we would ask you, okay, so what is your business about? And you would give us that information. And we would go in and pull leads based on what the keywords and hashtags that we pull based on your company specifically. So it would be, etiquette, business etiquette, dinner etiquette, conversation etiquette, like we will pull just for you. And so so when you have your events, or just to start, you remember how, so when Talisha first started with us, she had her business, and with coaching with Antonio, Talisha actually started posting videos. I don't know if y'all saw them. But she started creating videos about etiquette, teaching short lessons and posting them. So I would recycle all of my old content, Talisha. You can either re-record it or keep it and just use that and start sending out and because these leads are leads specified to you, when you send them out, you're letting them know, hey, are you looking for such and such and such? Or, hey, I just want to share some information with you to help you. And you do an email blast. And in that email blast, if you have an event that you're doing, after maybe like the fourth email of just being a resource and giving information, that next email, you still be a resource, but you let them know, hey, also I have this event coming up. You should sign up for it. This event is going to be about this. So you use that to take your leads, make them hot leads, and then put them into your funnel. So these leads are specifically for you, because I'm going to do the same thing. I have 3 books, which a few weeks ago, I can't remember. Melissa told me that all 3 of my books were bestsellers for Tree and Press. I was excited about that too. Don't correct me wrong.
No, honey. They're the Tree and Press books, but that's the bestsellers that we use for printing and distribution globally.
Oh, okay.
I want to make sure you're getting the prompts that you need.
I just thought they was bestsellers for Tree Press. I didn't know they're globally. Well, thank you.
So let me make sure you're getting your proper prompts.
Thank you, Melissa. Because I was like, oh, sweet. That worked for me. So whoop, whoop. Yeah, no. So I was okay. Thank you, Melissa. So what I would do, Talisha, is take these leads, and I would send information based on like bits and pieces of the things inside of the book. It's like, hey, if you're struggling with this, then try doing this, da 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 da. And you can do this even more, when you purchase Framework, and put a link to Framework in there. But being a resource, and you use those leads to build your community, to sell your products, to be a resource. Number one, always be a resource first before you start asking people for their 16 digits from left to right with the expiration date. and the 3-digit code on the back, be a resource first. So don't go in asking money, go in telling them, hey, I can help you with this. Let me help you for free a few times first. And then I'm gonna ask you for your money, but that's what you do with those leads. And these leads are catered to you. So you don't have to worry about anybody saying, oh, I'm not looking for any type of business etiquette or anything like that. No. These people specifically look for the etiquette keywords and specifically look for, they post or look for etiquette hashtags. And we pull those and give you that information. So that's what ATS Leads is about, building your business and your brand and getting that community that you need to thrive for $49. Oh, and those of you who become a part of ATS Leads are also grandfathered into Rhino Leg. Yes. So once Rhino Leg is released, you can just flow them leads right on into Rhino Leg and let Rhino Leg do all the work for you. I'm excited about that because Antonio built Rhino Leg for people like me who don't want to do the work, but want the work done, who are not in a position to hire anybody, but need the extra hand to help. Yeah. When Rhino Leg come out, y'all not gonna see me for a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie with you. Me and Melissa gonna be gone. We're gonna be playing. That's like big kids in the playground for us.
Yes, I'm waiting on the minutes so I can start counting them down.
See, we are excited. And when Antonio puts in the feature that you can click how they have like the away, idle, here, the little lights, well, Antonio is going to build into it where we can click, don't feel like working today, out with the family, on vacation, so that Rhino Leg knows, okay, Deanna don't feel like working today. So since Deanna don't feel like working today, we know we need to go full on. Everything needs to flow for the next 24 to 48 hours without any human contact. That's the part I'm looking forward to. Because I want to click a button, step away from my computer, and everything still work. I wish he could build in an aspect where it answers your email, it checks your emails and responds to them too. If he do that, it's done. This is a done deal. So that's what ATS Leads is, Talisha. And again, y'all don't want to miss Exploring Alignment. Oh my goodness. I got a peek, and it wasn't even 1% of what he's doing, but I got a peek of it and I'm excited. And Don may make a cameo. I don't know, because he kind of walked in on one of the recordings. He didn't know, y'all. He didn't know. Oh, baby. Then he turned and looked at the camera. I was like, oh. I gotta teach my baby about cameras and what to do. Don't look at the camera. Don't look directly at the camera. Yes, sir.
In marketing, how many commercials do you remember listening to where they have a kid in the commercial? Like the kid's talking or anything else. So having a kid in the commercial is good.
Yeah, quite a few actually. I'm a big kid. Look what I can do. I'm sorry. The song popped in my head when Mr. Phil said that. I can't wear big kittens too. Okay, I had to get it out. Sorry. Well, today, aligned with Exploring Alignment, please make sure you all get your tickets. I would love to see every last one of you there. It's not your regular conference, okay? It's not. It really is not. And I'm excited because I'm going to be a student. I love being a student. I'm going to be a student. So I have the absolute, Antonio has purposefully not told me anything. The things that I did see, it was like a pinch of 1% of it. And I'm excited. He accidentally showed me something like a short outline. It wasn't a full one. It was like just it was the bones. Before the bones go on, it was the marrow. And it was the marrow.
You can send them all the questions.
Oh, okay, sweet. Let me go find them. Oh, this gonna be fun. This gonna be fun. Uh-oh. There they go. Okay, so it's 15 questions. Hold on. I'm about to put them in chat for y'all. It's 15 questions. I hope they all fit. Oh, no, they're too long. Okay, so I'm gonna do, what's half of 15? I'm gonna do 8 and then do the rest. That's too long. Okay, so I'm gonna do 5. I'll do 3 sets of 5. So here's the first 5. And here is the second 5. And here is the last set of 5. There we go. So these are the 15 questions that these are the 15 questions that the conference is about, per se, I think. I don't want to lie to y'all, but you don't want to miss it. Because imagine getting the answers to all those questions. Yes, so I'm excited. I'm super excited. You don't want to miss it. So please get your tickets. I would love to be able to have a conversation with y'all after. You're like, so what did you get? What did you learn? Wasn't it fun? Man, I didn't know. Trust me, please be there. You know, I'm a big kid. Kids like to share excitement with others. And it's hard to share excitement when you don't know what the excitement is about. So please come join us for the Alignment Conference. So today, we're still in transcending inconsistency. And within that, we were talking about lessons and imperfections. So today we're talking about the path to self-discovery and spiritual alignment. Over the past 7.5 years or so, my self-discovery and spiritual alignment journey has been a crazy one. I went from not going to church to being a minister, an ordained minister. That one's still just, I don't know what Antonio was thinking when he did that. I still don't. I'm as hard-headed as they come, okay? Antonio tell y'all all the time, trust me, God will tell me something, and I'm like, no, sir.
Source said you need to be a minister.
There you go.
That's what he was thinking.
And it's crazy because I grew up in the church. I actually left the church. Then came across Antonio, got back into church. Struggled because at this time my spiritual journey was, you need to let it go and let God. And I was like, but no, I've been doing it for so long. I got this part. You're supposed to do everything else. Then it went from that to learning about the universe and the laws of the universe and chakras and all these other practices. And then I was like, you funny prophet. Then it went from that to, okay, so is God real? Like my whole journey led me on this step to now where I'm like, God is real because God is the universe. And now my journey is do what he said, do. Trust him and let him fight your battles. You shut your mouth and do the work. But what that did more so was, for me, I had to let me go. See, I couldn't build my relationship with God if I was my own God. Like I couldn't.
Wait a minute. You acted like Mr. Smith. You cannot just bypass that, what you just said, okay? One more time. You remember what you said?
I can't build a relationship with God if I am my God. You know how they say the line is God, you, family, then everything else? Yeah, it was me, then everything else. And that's not how you build a relationship. That's not how your self-discovery and spirituality goes. It's believing in something bigger than you. It's having the faith that no matter what, everything is going to be okay. And when I embraced the fact that no, I am not perfect. I am not God. I am perfect in my imperfection. I am not perfect. And I had to face me. I had to face what we call the shadow side of me. I had to come to terms with, okay, look, only God is perfect. Sweetie, I'm gonna need you to back up and sit your tail down somewhere and listen to what I'm telling you. Trying to have control of things is trying to be God. And God don't even control stuff. He lets you decide what you want to do, and he's with you every step of the way. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Antonio used to tell us all the time, those who had addictions, God was the arm that they were putting the drug in. He was there with them every step of the way. So what made you, Deanna, was you there? Was you there when he created the heavens and the earth? Was you there when he separated the water from the land? Was you there when he made two of each? Was you there when he created Adam? Did you pick the rib that Eve came from? No, you were not. He made you to be a human experience for him, not to do his job. So my spiritual journey, I had to check myself. I used to feel like I had to be perfect in everything I did, which perfection leads to fear of criticism. It leads to fear of failure. It leads to massive self-criticism. How many of y'all are your own worst critic? Like can't nobody talk you like you. Like if somebody wanted to hurt your feelings, you could look at them and smile, be like, sweetie, I can do a lot worse for myself. Thank you. I appreciate you though. I appreciate you. And that's all because I was trying to be perfect. Because when you're not perfect, you're like, oh my goodness, are they going to like me? Oh my goodness, this didn't go how I planned it. And you break down because you don't have the strength and the fortitude to understand that mistakes happen. Nothing is perfect. So what I had to do is I had to realize that me striving for perfection was completely unrealistic. And it became a source of unnecessary stress and anxiety. As a mom, I was trying to be perfect. Nope. As a wife, perfect. Nope. As a friend, I don't know. As a friend, I just got to a point where it was like, hey, she my friend. I'm just going to tell Grace how it flow out my mouth. But then later I'll be like, man, that conversation wasn't perfect. Let me call Grace and apologize to her because that wasn't perfect. Trying to be perfect leads to so much anxiety. And in a life that is filled with inconsistency, you spend more time stressed and anxious than you do loving life and just enjoying it. When I started accepting my imperfections, I did not say I have mastered it. When I started, go ahead, who unmuted?
Me.
Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
Well, the concept of being perfect is based on the need to want to be right. So being perfect is being right. Being your best is willing to be wrong. So you have a need to be right all the time. That's where you strive for perfection. But if you know being your best, try something new, try something different. You know, I always want to come out with a t-shirt that says, hey, I'm making this up as I go along. And the back says, and so are you, so admit it.
You should make that shirt. I would
So
wear that.
it's a need to be right is why you strive for perfection.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phil.
Yeah, we've been talking about making one of those shirts and putting that on the back.
You really should.
Yeah.
You really should.
We'll
Because
do
there's so many people in this world. I was one of them. I still have my moments where I just have to be right. I just have to be right. And after I noticed how it alienated people, put a wedge between me and Antonio, you push people away. Heck, I was losing a kid. Don is 8. Me trying to be right. I'm looking at him, and the worst thing with kids is you can see their faces when their heart breaks. Oh, and it hurts so much. And when you're trying to be right with somebody who is just now discovering the world, you create a person who goes around breaking other people because they think they're right. So when you help the next generation, when you understand there is no such thing as perfect. Epigenetics, that boy came out trying to be perfect and right before he even took his first breath of oxygen. He was still in the amniotic fluids, thinking he was right. But after, thank you, Mr. Phil, so much, because that is absolutely what perfection is. I'm right all the time, so I'm perfect. But then I started to see my mistake in always being right. And I started seeing that making mistakes, I started seeing and also learning. I started learning first. Antonio started planting the seeds first. And I started learning first that mistakes and experiencing failures, they're all a natural part of life. They're part of the inconsistencies. How do you learn if you don't make a mistake? How can you learn anything if you're always right? So what I started to do is I slowly just started to, instead of beating myself up, and it took a lot. I still do it to today. And every now and then Antonio has to pause me and has to say, hey, no. Receive what I just said. You're doing great. Because if I make a mistake, I resort back to the kid who got in trouble for making the mistake. I resort back to the kid who, because I didn't make straight A's and I got 1 B, I'm in trouble. Not acknowledging the straight A's, but only acknowledging the B. But that B is perfect in itself because I did it. Mistakes and all, that B means I made mistakes. And then the next report card, I get an A, it means I learned from my mistakes. See, if we teach each other that mistakes are like report cards. Man, I got a C in communication this semester. So let me work harder so I can get a B in communication next semester. Oh, I'm communicating better. I got a B. So let me work harder so I can get an A in communication. If we look at mistakes like that, things to learn from, not things that will destroy our lives, then we will walk around with less stress. We'll be easier on ourselves. We'll be more gentle when it comes to ourselves. And then we become more vulnerable and accepting that we're not flawed, that we are flawed, that we're not flawless. Man, that F word, hold on. Flaw. Okay. we become more comfortable expressing the fact that we're vulnerable and that we're flawless and that we're just like everyone else. Again, I told y'all I'm a narcissist. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody has to love me. Everybody loves me. Like I'm so lovable. Everybody loves me. There's nothing not to love about me. I'm the greatest. But I'm also extremely flawed. And balancing, knocking my narcissist off her pedestal, and then going through the process of saying, okay, Deanna, it's okay that you're not perfect. Deanna, it's okay that you mess up here. Deanna, it's okay. It's okay that you don't know. That was my biggest thing. It's okay that you don't know. Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
Well, it even goes back to the concept of sin. Sin is an archery term, which means missing the mark. So that's all sin is. Sin is simply missing the mark. And that's what we're down here. We're down here to learn, but we're going to miss the mark from time to time to learn to be better, to adjust so we can hit the mark the next time. Nixon, when he got on the helicopter to leave the White House for the last time, says you have to be in the lowest valley to appreciate the highest peak. Mm. So all sin is you're just missing the mark.
Okay, Mr. Phil, why do you make things sound so easy? Oh, I just missed the mark. I sinned. I missed the mark. You know, I grew up being taught if I sinned, I was going to hell, period, unless I repented. And you telling me sin is just missing the mark? Oh, God said do this, and I missed the mark. Dang it, let me try again. Like, your perception changes when you think of it that way. Like, dang, I missed the mark this time. Well, let me go try again. Instead of, dang, I missed the mark. Well, that's it for me. Might as well just keep on missing mark. I mean, some people do think that way, by the way. Oh, I sinned once, I might as well keep on doing it anyway. I'm going to hell. Might as well. But if you see it as, dang, I missed the mark on showing grace love today. You know what? Let me go do it again. Let me try it again. Let me go do it better. And when you look at it that way, as, man, I missed the mark, realize how much stress and anxiety you relieve yourself of? So if that's the case, could it be safe to say that a sin is a mistake? A lesson for you to learn from and do it better next time so you don't miss the mark? Can we say that? I'm asking y'all, do y'all think that's something we could say, that a sin is just a mistake, that where we miss the mark? And so we learn from it so we can do it again and not miss the mark this time?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Grace said, you are on it today. You are talking today, Mr. Phil. I told y'all, he drop nuggets and he just mute his mic and lean on back. Like he didn't say anything profound.
It's the hat. It's the hat.
You know what? It is the hat. I agree, Grace. It's the hat. You know, then he did the little, you know, afterwards, it's the hat. It's the hat. It's definitely the hat. So I want to talk to you today. I want to ask you all, so my personal growth has allowed me, Exodus 14:14 would not be in my existence had I not been on my journey. And I tell y'all Exodus 14:14 all the time, because for me, it is my way of learning how to not be perfect, how to not be right all the time. Because if I let God fight my battles, and I shut up and I sit down and I wait for him to call me or to tell me where to go. I'm not trying to be right. I could be in the middle of an argument and God be like, hey, don't do that. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let you fight this one. I'm gonna let you fight this one. I'm gonna shut up. Cause I got words today, okay? And I got time. But go ahead. Go ahead, Renee.
Please forgive me, you guys, for being tardy, but it's Monday morning, so I'm like Jesus. But I just want to say this because I know I'm late coming into the convo, but I will say that the scripture that you've been talking about, I tell you, it was some years back that I had a call with my boss at the time, and he was just being downright nasty to me, and he was yelling at me, and I was like, and the words were right here. The words, went from there to my lips, and I was about to open up a can, and I was really about to lay in to this white man. And I only say that because I was that mad. And so, but the minute that I tried, God was like, no, Renee. And I was like, dang, damn it.
Be like, let me just say one word, just one word. Let me get you one word in.
I said, come on, let me lay into this dude. But every time I tried to say something, it came out, And then he said, do you understand me? And I'm like, and my eyes are going probably bigger than my glasses right now. But I was like, and I said, you don't have any problems. And I was like, but I was so hot that I got off the phone and I had to go outside of the guard check, and I had to sit down because we had a bench outside, and I had to just go and sit down. And my partner, the girl I worked with, she knew something was wrong when she pulled up, and I was still out there on the bench, just chilling. But I realized that I wasn't right. As much as I wanted to say what I wanted to say, God had to really rise up in that situation, because I know that if I would have said something, I would have lost my job. I probably would have lost my job that day. And of course, I don't think necessarily what I would have said would have been wrong, but in his ignorance, he would have been like, oh, okay, that's how she feels. I'm gonna fire this girl. You know what I'm saying? But I'm grateful, as much as I wanted to in the heat of the moment, God, God just continued to show me that that wasn't the job that I was going to be at for the rest of my life. And in that right time, I moved right on out, and it was perfect, because when I moved out, whatever happened to the place, it's what happened, because there wasn't anybody there praying. it wasn't anybody there praying for those people. But I'm just grateful that I didn't say anything, even though I wanted to. So and as angry as I get sometimes, and I try not to get angry, but sometimes I'm like, the Kennedy, the Akron wants to, see me in the pew, wants to, get in there, and I can act a hot mess if I choose to. But I'm just grateful on that day. I said, okay. Success is going to be the best way for me to get out of here to get to where I want to be. So yeah, that scripture is facts, but you'd be surprised of when it'll rise up, and you really will be like, thank God that I didn't say what I was thinking of saying, or I didn't pull up at the job and do something, because I could have. I'm not a hugely tall woman, but I knew I could have probably taken that dude if I would, because he's 6'7", but I'm almost 6 feet myself. But the scriptures really will come to life when you need it to, and when you are like, you know what, because we don't ever want to make so many decisions based on our emotions, because if we're completely emotionally driven, then we could end up in a lot of sugar honey iced tea.
Girl, we'd be in the war every other week if we went by our emotions.
Every other day if we ain't careful. So it's so important that we just let God, because we just let go and let God, because if we do it, we're gonna end up in that show, Orange is the New Black. Thanks for letting me share.
Let me tell you something.
And I'm not gonna say the show, so it could be real life.
What just hit me was our inconsistencies. Yes, thank you, Grace. She sure is looking tiny in that little square. Go ahead, Renee, looking tiny in your little square. Yes,
Thank you guys.
as Grace said,
medium.
that's exactly what Grace said. Grace said, looks like she's about to fit in that medium. Come on, Renee.
Thanks, fam.
What just hit me was our inconsistencies. The inconsistencies in life show us our flaws. So when we are quote unquote perfectionists and everything has to be perfect, that inconsistency pops up. It shows us, no, you're not perfect here. And we flip the hell out. That's why we have anxiety. That's why we get stressed. But if we are on our personal growth journey, on our spiritual growth journey, then we understand it is just a natural part of life. And if we pay attention to the laws of the universe, I tell you, the laws of the universe scared the hell out of me. And let me tell you why. Because them suckers happen simultaneously. It's not one law in action at one time. No, it's every single law happening in every second of every day. And that scares the hell out of me, because when I think I got one down, here come 50 other ones saying, oh yeah, you got that, but you forgot about us. So what I have learned when it comes to the laws of the universe, when it comes to me and my growth and my journey and inconsistency, I worry about my own self. I don't know if y'all saw that video, but the little girl putting on her seatbelt, her dad was like, hey, you need some help? She's like, no, I got it. He like, you sure? She looked at him with all the confidence in her face. She said, what about yourself? And she looked like she was no more than maybe like 3 years old. And she repeated it to him so he could understand, worry about yourself.
One of my favorite videos.
See? Worry about yourself. That little girl, when I worry about how dirty my house is, I'm not focused on how dirty your house is. When I focus on me and sweeping the dust out of the corners in my house, and I let God fight my battles for me, those laws, they're not so scary anymore. But if I'm focused on what you're doing, I'm trying to be right all the time, you're wrong all the time, guess what those laws are doing to me? They are beating my ass. And I'm tired, okay? I ran into my grandmother at at Walmart. And I was talking to her and I told her how I've been telling y'all about her and the story that her mom told her about if you focus on how dirty your house is, you ain't work. She said, yeah, she said, I got another one for you. She said, I was listening to these two people talking, and they were two gentlemen, two gay gentlemen, and they were talking. And one of them was like, girl, when I was like, girl, let me tell you, I was talking to Rosa the other day and I had to take her nose back. It's like, what you mean take her nose back? Yeah, I found her nose. What, well, where did you find her nose? In my business.
Yes.
So y'all, instead of people bringing me my nose, I just keep it on my face. I keep my nose out their business and in my own. Okay, let me tell you. And when you focus on you, you have enough to keep you occupied, not to worry about what somebody else is doing. When you focus on your flaws, you can't see nobody else's. There's no such thing as perfection when you look at yourself in the mirror every day. I can't worry about what Grace is doing if I'm sitting over here working out my own stuff. At your age, not your shoe size. Thank you. Thank you. At your age, I am 40. I don't need to be acting like I'm 7. That's a big age gap, okay? But sometimes acting like but you know what? Hold on, Renee. I got a counter for you. Maybe you should act your shoe size and not your age, because you're supposed to go to him as a child. So if you keep the mentality of a child, you know things aren't perfect. You're always learning and you're always growing. Mind your business.
And that's interesting because you guys, I wear 12. So if I act like I'm 12, and I still kind of do though. You know what I'm saying? I act like I'm 12.
You're supposed to.
In some ways I do. That's why it hurt my feelings when Jamie was watching Power Rangers and he wouldn't say, for me it's morphin time. I was really upset about that. It's not.
I mean, you just can't not watch Power Rangers, and when it's time to change, say it's morphin. You cannot do that.
So I asked him to say it again for my TikTok, and he said no. And then he said, I got a headache, and I said that's not right. You're supposed to say it's morphin time again. And anyway.
R.I.P. Tommy. He's my favorite.
Yeah. And the Yellow Ranger trainee. She died years back.
What?
Yeah.
See, hold on. Wait a minute. That was just a shocker.
I'm sorry. I hate to
all
be
my
the one.
Power Ranger people. To all my Power Ranger people. R.I.P. But think about it though. Kids, they ain't worried about nothing. They're not trying to be perfect. They're not in your business. The reason, the way kids learn how to be in our business is by watching us. They listen to us gossip about other people. They watch how we act when we in other people's houses. They watch how one moment we best friends with somebody, and the moment we get in the car, we talking about how dirty their house is, how their kids ain't all in order, how this and this and that and that. That's how kids learn. But
And
until
kids
then,
are always forgiving.
yes, they are.
Always. And they're always ready and willing to give you a hug.
Always. Always.
You know, Pinky.
Go ahead.
There, because we had my 2-year-old. I told y'all about my 2-year-old great nephew.
Yeah.
He called his mom a female doll, and she act like she was shocked. And I'm like, he's 2. Where's he gonna get that at? He's around you 24/7. You have a foul mouth. Everything come out your mouth is foul. Not on gingivitis or hepatitis, but just foulness. Just foulness, and that's all he got is foulness. I wish I can take him and just bring him back like 5 or 6. She wouldn't have no problem with him. But yeah, it's what, when I was growing up, we did not stay in where the kids were, where the adults were at. It was in the basement or outside.
Yep. You stayed out of grown folk business. You wasn't seen nor heard. And the only time you stayed inside was when it was raining outside, depending on who your peoples was. Cause this one, I played in rain. I was just told, don't get sick. That's the only thing. Okay. Then I know when I get in the house, dry off, change clothes, so I don't get sick. But kid, if we just have a child's mind when it comes to our approach to the world and ourselves, because children are extremely forgiving, like Miss Sandra said, children forgive so easily. I kind of almost envy, because they forgive and they move on so fast. And it's like, if I could just forgive and just move on so fast, life would be the greatest thing, the greatest experience. If we walk this journey with a child's mentality, do you realize how bright our lights would shine? The humor consultants have been where they are as long as I've been alive. Because if you pay attention to Mr. Phil and Miss Susan, they are big kids. Now, Miss Susan is the older big kid, but she's a big kid nonetheless. She's the one that's like, no, Phil, don't do that. And he's like, but why? But just look at the light that they shine. Because they stayed big kids, they shed that light and they changed lives. We saw the 20th anniversary. And Miss Susan, look, y'all don't sleep on Miss Susan. Don't sleep on her. She done said some stuff to me. I was like, wait a minute, Miss Susan, hold on. But it's because they don't act like children. They have the mind of a child, so they stay happy, they stay forgiving, they stay learning and growing. Mr. Phil presents us with a different book almost every week. Y'all want to know why? Because children love to learn. And then they love to share what they learned. So can you imagine if all of us adults walked around here like big kids, learning something new every day and sharing what we learned instead of judging each other and being all in each other's business? How much better this world would be? We wouldn't worry about being perfect. Inconsistency, I had that for breakfast. So I want to ask all of you.
Tiana,
Yes, ma'am.
it just brought something like right to my mind about a teacher I had. And he was kind of, I don't know, I thought he was kind of mean. And so I was very quiet in the class because one time he corrected me with a math thing that I didn't understand in a negative way. So I just was quiet. And one time he called me in and he said, "Hey, Bolt, come in here. I want to talk to you." And he said, "How come you're always so quiet in class, but you have one of the loudest mouths out there in the hall?" So I'm like, "Well, it kind of goes back to you, sir." And I told him how he made me feel.
You reminded me, Miss Susan, I was that kid. I was quiet in the classroom, but you could hear me too. You could hear me like all the way down the hall and around the corner. I'm getting to my class and my teacher's like, "I thought I heard you."
My best friend in high school was really funny too. And, I spent the night at her place a lot and we would be laughing all night. And we still talk on the phone. All we do is laugh the whole time. So it's always refreshing when I talk with her because I really get to totally be me and just let it go,
No, I do.
Somebody has to be serious. We are serious about humor. Somebody has to be serious in our from time to time and humor consultants.
But no, I love it. I love it. It's just being a kid. If to me, this is me. This is what I discovered with me. If you just be a kid, kids understand that nothing is perfect. Kids forgive each other without conversation. Kids love unconditionally. And they're so close to God and the universe that they can feel when you need a hug and not even be in the same city as you. That will help you battle inconsistency every day of the week. Kids get hit, they fall. Antonio even gave us a scenario of a kid learning how to walk. The inconsistency for the kid is walking. Like, hey, I've never done this before. But what do? They pull themselves up. They get the balance. They see a target. They set out for that target. They fall in the middle, but they get right back up. And they keep going to the target. And then when they hit the target, everybody around them goes, yay. So they're sitting here like, yay. I pulled up some old photos of Don to show him how he looked as a kid. And I had the video of him walking. And he did that very thing. He set a point. He walked. He kind of stumbled a little bit. So he paused. He rocked a little bit, caught his balance, and kept on going. And the moment he got to his spot, he turned around and looked at us and we all went, and he was like, yay. All a kid is doing is battling the inconsistencies that come their way. First, they have to try to first off, they got to breathe oxygen. That's an inconsistency off top. What we do on a daily basis is an inconsistency for them. But they master it. Then they master telling you they're hungry. It's an inconsistency for them because they've never felt that hunger. Not outside of you. Then it's the inconsistency of, wait a minute, what is this I'm feeling between my legs? This is moisture. I'm not used to this. Hey, mom, dad, I need you to come get this off of me. I don't know what this is. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. That's an inconsistency for them. But they get through it. Then it's laying on their stomach and holding their heads up. Every part of every muscle in them is weak. Everything they do is an inconsistency for them because they're used to just growing and being curled up and sucking their thumbs and whatever else babies do in the womb. I only tell y'all what I've seen for myself. So everything to them is they come into life with inconsistencies. They don't complain. They learn from them and they grow from them. So at what point do we consider inconsistencies bad? We're taught that. But if we keep the mentality of a child, when it comes to how a child loves and learns, there's nothing we can't do. Perfection? I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about if I get to make mud pies today. That's what my spiritual and self-growth journey has taught me. So now I'm going to present this question to you, because each and every one of you have been on your own self-growth discovery journey and your own spiritual journey. So my spiritual journey has taught me to worry about myself. My spiritual and self-growth journey has taught me to worry about myself. Nothing is perfect. And to have a kid's mentality. when it comes to life. What has your spiritual journey and self-growth journey taught you? And the floor is open. I'm ready. I want to hear this.
I want to go. One thing my journey has taught me is that there's nothing wrong at all with the way that I look. I listened to that for years. There's nothing wrong with the way I look. I'm absolutely gorgeous. I am Renee. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to allow people to try to tell me like, oh, well, you're not cute. I'm like, I am wonderful just as I am. Even if I never lose another pound, even if I gain a pound, I'm still perfectly wonderful just the way I am. And I learned that I don't have to be shy about the different things, the different obstacles that I've been through. It's okay for me to tell those things because it is what made me me. It's I think one of the first things I heard was Antonio saying that everything is perfect, and I really didn't believe him for a while until I was like, you know what, everything really is. It's yeah, I kind of hit some licks growing up, and I've still experienced some, of course, as an adult, but it's only helped me to realize what was there goes that shirt, Deanna. What was in me all along. So I am, yeah, it's been a winding road, but I finally came back to Renee. So that's been the biggest thing that I learned. I'm like, hey, I don't have to necessarily always be made up all the time. I just have to be authentic. I just gotta be Renee. So yeah, that's what I'm learning.
Thank you so much for sharing, Renee. Thank you so much. Tracy put in the chat, once kids start school is when they start worrying about being inconsistent. They start getting judged by other kids and some adults for their inconsistency.
Facts.
And that sucks because they're only learning what we taught them. When I say we, I mean adults. They're only learning what adults taught them. Like Don, he had he just out the blue, because he's been saying it, but just a couple of days ago out the blue, he said, Mommy, I'm really nervous about going to the 2nd grade. And he's like, I don't think I'm smart enough. I was like, baby, you're a genius. You got this. You're just learning something new. That's all. And then he was like, well, I know I'm smart enough. I guess I'm just a little nervous. I say, you're a little nervous. You're starting a new grade, meeting a new teacher, meeting, new classmates. He's like, yeah, that's it. So I love the fact that he said, well, I know I'm smart enough. And so what I did was I related to him. And I told him, I said, Mommy felt the same way. I was always nervous. I said, you're just a little nervous and anxious. He said, yeah, that's what it is. This is my 8-year-old. Going to high school was dreadful for me. Especially when you go to high school with family that's been in the district for a little longer than you, because then your aunts and your uncles learn to teach us, and then they start having conversations about you. It's like, wait, that's not my mama. Why are you talking to her? So now you're getting judged by your auntie, your uncles. But that's what we do to our kids. And that's what happens to us. That's why we are perfectionists. That's why we don't talk about the imperfections. That's why we don't talk about the flaws, because we've been taught, don't worry about your flaws. Talk about Jerome's flaws. Don't worry about your flaws. Talk about Renee's flaws. Because if I'm talking about y'all flaws, I can't see mine. I can't focus on mine. But on this spiritual journey, I can't do and be the best me worried about y'all. I can't help Renee clean her house only to come home to a dirty house myself. But then I don't invite nobody over because I don't want nobody to see my house dirty. So I'm always going to other people's houses. Therefore, I'm never at home to clean my own house. So I decided to stay at my own house, clean my own house, so that I have room to invite others into my house. It's okay. Your house dirty, you need somewhere to go, I got you, come on. Because I've been in my house all day cleaning. I know what my house looked like. When you worry about yourself, you have more compassion, not only for yourself, but for others, because you understand. So somebody else's when somebody else hits an inconsistency in their life, because you've been there and you've done that, you can be there for them and help them see, hey, you okay? You got a little dust in your corner. That's okay. Everybody got dust in their corner. You want to come to my house and see my dust? Come on. I'll help you. I got the same dust in my corner that you got in your corner. It's an inconsistency in both of our homes, and it is okay. So who else? Who else's self-growth and spiritual journey? How has that changed? How has that helped you with your inconsistency, and how has it helped you move past perfection? How has your personal growth and spiritual journey changed your life, basically? How has it changed your life? The floor is open. Go ahead, Talisha.
Okay. For me, yeah, I'm over here multitask. But for me, I've seen a lot of personal growth. One, getting closer to God, throwing temper tantrums, honestly, like at him half of the time. Like today, I was having a temper tantrum because I was reading one of the scriptures, and in the midst of it, I was just like, God, I didn't want to admit it. It's been a long time admitting it, but I was like, I don't really trust you. And then in the midst of, like, before I got on this call, I was doing my meditation. I was just like, I'm going to be late. I know I'm going to hear Antonio, you're not on time, da, da, da. But I was just like, I got to finish this meditation. In the midst of the meditation, I was just like, yes, I can finally say it. I don't trust God. But it's like, I have no other choice but to trust him in this situation I'm in. It was just like, he's making me, it's like, you're going to trust me. I have your back. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out today. So it's just like, why it's like me saying that is like I'm putting God through hoops to gain his trust. And it should be the other way around, and it's just like, since you did that in your marriage, you've done that, the people, you just like, it just started making me really be like, Felicia, you're a hard cookie to crack. No, a rock to crack. So it was just like, Felicia, you got to do better and open up your heart. But it all boils down to, I do remember at one point, I never took under consideration where it stemmed from. The lady that raised me, it was just like, I think she did a good job. She did what she could, what she had. However, I felt like my life was in fear in her presence. And so if the person that raised me couldn't do it right, then what makes me think that God can do any better? And so that was just like a hard, honest truth. And it came to me then, I was like, oh, wow. But he has been showing me, through all the situations I've been through, y'all, the stuff that I've been through, the people, you just be like, wow, did that really happen? Like some of the stuff, like the last thing I told you, some things you just be like, is she telling the truth? Like, did that really happen? It's like my life is a movie, which is all of our lives is basically like a movie. And I was like, this needs to be said. Or going into corporate world and noticing how certain people act like high school kids. And you're like, am I in a playground full of kids? Like, but the wrong kids, not the ones that play for kind-hearted, loving, have your best interests at heart. It's the ones that let me cut your throat, throw you under the bus, and be the mean girl, that type of thing. And so God has shown me, Tanisha, I'm showing you this, and it's for a bigger purpose. And it can play a part of my business. It can play a part of book that I plan on writing. One of the books, it's still in writing. Like every life thing that I go through, I go and write it down because it's gonna be a part of the book. And God blessing me the last 2 days, I have been helping someone with their event. And oh God, Antonio and Deanna, y'all thought y'all put me through something. When I went to get Galveston with y'all, this don't even top it. I worked my butt off with this lady, and it came out beautiful. The event came out beautiful. The person that saw the event, they cried as soon as they went into the thing. However, I'm just saying this to say that I met 2 young girls who was also helping. One was in high school and one was going to college this year. One has been homeschooled for 5 years, so she's nervous on going to 9th grade this year. And then the other one, she's just now becoming to be in college. So however, they was sharing their story to me, and I was just like, God, at this moment, you brought these 2 girls to me because of what I teach and what their brains, and the girls were like vulnerable. They had no problem with sharing. Like we literally sat down in Chick-fil-A on our break, and they told me their whole life story. And within an hour, and these girls were so, they told me, they was just like, because they practiced the Torah and all of that. As a young age, I was just shocked that they were into that. And she was just like, the first time we saw you, we saw a good spirit. They said they didn't feel negative when they saw me. They said that my energy was different. And so that's why when we sat down, they were able to sit down and tell me some painful stuff that they went through in life. So I feel like, and Deanna, when I said, remember the time we were talking on my way home and you're like, so what is God telling you to do? What's the lesson you're supposed to learn out of this? And then ask the universe, what's your next step? And then when it came to me, right when you spoke it, and then I see these girls, the words, like every time something happened, those words come back to me of what we saw. So the power that I have, that I have not consumed myself with or understood my power, shows up every day with different people, if that makes sense. And then it was funny because Antonio texted me yesterday. He said something about you have great power or something like that. And I was just like, it showed up again. So it's just like, I need to understand that power that I possess and use it for my good. So God has definitely been working with me on loving me, trusting me, and believe my abilities can help others. And my vulnerability, I honestly believe, is what gets me into different doors, because things that are not willing to be talked about, I'm able to say and open other conversations for others. So he's working with me.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. I am so proud of you for saying what you said. I don't think I trust God. I don't trust God. I'm proud of you for saying that. Do you know how many people would not have let those words leave their lips? Or how many people would have been like, oh my God, she just said that she doesn't trust God. Do you know, I am so proud of you. And I want you to give yourself some credit because you trusted him enough that when the situation happened, the situation that we was on the phone about happened, you were still calm enough to pay attention to him talking to you in the midst of a storm. So I'm proud of you. And you've been listening to him since, which shows that while you don't trust him, you do. So I'm proud of you. Because that what you did to trust, the fact that you didn't go back out and look for another job, that was trust. He told you what to do and you had to trust him and do what he said. So I'm proud of you for admitting you didn't trust him and then for trusting him. So proud of you. And thank you for your transparency and sharing that with us. Because you didn't have to. Go ahead, Mr. Field.
May I connote you a little bit? And I've said this before, so this is just a friendly reminder. Have you ever heard the saying, pride cometh before the fall?
No, I haven't heard
It's
that.
in some. Have you ever heard that pride is one of the 7 cardinal sins?
No, but I believe it is.
And I'm coaching Deanna. I'm not coaching you.
Oh,
because
okay,
Deanna, how many times did you use the word pride or proud?
Oh, I use it quite often.
So I was struggling with that, because my kids are tremendous and Susan's amazing. So if I'm not proud, what's the right vibe what's the vibration I want to create? And I thought, and I came up with inspires or inspired. So you're not proud of Dawn, you're inspired by Dawn. And I think that better communicates what you're trying to put across. So you're not proud of Talisa, you're inspired by her.
There we go.
So in the future, when you're tempted to use the word pride or proud, do inspires or inspired.
Thank you. I am inspired.
I'm just saying.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Because you have connoted on that before. You've connoted on that before. So yes, Talisha, I am inspired by you. Thank you very much. So inspired. So who else would like to share? I'm loving this. I'm loving this because we are all individual human experiences of God. So it's wonderful to hear how another experience is doing. So who else would like to share? How has your go ahead, whoever unmuted the mic.
I just wanted to say that, have you ever heard when they say, don't sweat the small stuff? And it's all, and at the end of the day, it's all small stuff. So you have to just get, your priorities in order. And the little stuff that people say and do really don't matter in the big scheme of things. So you just let it go and you keep moving, because I've learned that, in my years of being here, because people always have something negative to say. They can't help themselves. So, you just write it off, you light skinned with long hair, they don't like you. But all my friends are dark skinned. So what's the problem? I had no choice in being light skinned with long hair. This is just the way I was born. So you don't like me because of that. So I just I just wrote them off. It's okay. I am who I am, You're dark for a reason. That's who you are. There's nothing wrong with being dark and have short hair. It's nothing wrong with that, but people say different things to you and you take it by heart. My mom used to say, don't carry your feelings on your shoulder because somebody will knock them off. And I didn't really understand it when I was growing up. But people would say things and I would cry and stuff. And she was like, you can't wear your feelings on your shoulder because somebody will knock them off. So at one point, it made me hard that I don't care what none of y'all say, blah, blah, blah. But then I had to kind of, bring that down because then that's making me mean, So I had to stop that and say, okay, it's okay. That's what they think, but I know who I am. And so you have to know who you are. And if people say things and do things, You just say they just haven't came into their self yet. And they will come in, but sometimes it takes people longer than others. So you just have to say, okay, they'll be okay, and pray for them and keep it moving, because evidently they don't know what they're doing or saying, so you have to let it go. So that's all I got to say.
Ashe, thank you for sharing, Miss Brenda. Thank you very much. And she has a point. People, unfortunately, we don't know what we're doing to kids directly and indirectly. So when they become adults, they suck. And that's one of the things that I've learned. So what Miss Brenda just said about they're doing the best they can with what they have. Yeah, because whoever raised them was growing up at the same time. So they learning together. Go ahead, Tracy. Oh, school starts back this week too.
Good morning. Yes, it does. Students come back Wednesday. I'm so glad I'm able to be on this morning. So with that being said, I know you were talking about how have we grown and things like that. Now, I just want to add and ask you all a question. So last week we started back teacher professional development, and we were, in meetings and things like that all week. So for those that don't know, this is what teachers do. And for those that do not know, I guess I have to remember that teachers are people too. And sometimes we have teachers that are, let me say, I don't want to use the word petty, but let me say it like this. So I feel like over the summer, okay, rewind. Ms. Brenda, I'm so glad that you said that, because I needed to hear that. I needed to be reminded not to wear my feelings on my shoulders, because over the summer, I prepared this curriculum to present to the school and to present to my fellow team members, so that we can teach this social and emotional learning to the students on a different level. And so when I went back last week, I was able to present my curriculum to them, and I was able to, show them everything that I did. Like, I created the lessons, I created the scripts for the teachers, I created the activities, the worksheets, the formative assessments, like everything that you need to teach. Yeah, like for real. And and it's like, to a certain, it's funny, because the teachers that I didn't think would be supportive, that were like new, that really didn't know me, I would think that they would be like, oh no, we're not going to do all that. But they were the ones that say, oh, this is good, I like this, I'm going to use this, thank you. And then the ones that were closest to me, that I've been working with on this team now for about 5 years, they were like, well, we like the old way. The old way, the district has already told us we can't use it anymore, because it costs like $15,000 for them to pay for it, which is the reason why I said, well, hey, I can create a curriculum and I can sell my curriculum, and y'all can go and give me that money. That was my thoughts, right? But I really, last week, I felt some kind of way, because the people who I thought were going to be in it, it's ironic, because it's just like what we've been talking about when it comes to our business, how a lot of times the people closest to us don't support us, and the people that we don't even know will be like all down and liking what you have. And that actually happened in school last week. And so I had to be reminded that even if they don't support me, I should still keep pushing. But then what happened with that is that they actually started being, let me say it like this, like, they're very judgmental. I'm noticing how judgmental people are. And I don't judge. I'm like, when we have a topic, I'm in the middle. I'm kind of unbiased. I'm like, let's look at both perspectives. But when I was doing that last week, I was kind of getting the feeling of like, it was kind of like, oh, Armstrong think, she all that, or Armstrong. So like when people talking about people, I'll be like, hey, you never know what they're going through. And then I'll just go to my classroom. And so what Miss Brenda just said made me think about that, because now I'm getting it's like, I feel like my room is like down the hall in a corner. And a lot of times I just stay in my corner because I'm not a part of the talking about people. I'm not a part of the messiness. I'm not a part of that where the students come in and you got to be mean to them. I'm that teacher that's trying to be welcoming and make them feel good. Like, what I've just put in the chat about how when kids get to school is when they start feeling a certain way. I want my character to show them that it doesn't have to be like that at school. But then when I'm around these other teachers, it's like teachers are really like that. And so now I'm feeling like I'm being excluded. And it's kind of like, oh, don't go talk to Armstrong because she always gonna try to make something positive. So the question that I wanted to share that my growth has been observing people more and being able to discern people's spirits better over this journey that I've been going through. But now I'm trying to figure out how to do the rest of this. Like literally students haven't even came. This was literally the first week of teachers being back together. And that's the overall feeling. And so I'm just reminded now not to wear my feelings on my shoulders, but at the same time, I want to create a culture within the school where the teachers can work together and feel good about being there. And that's not happening. Any suggestions?
I'm gonna let Mr. Phil go. I'm gonna let Mr. Phil go. Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
Well, I've said this many times, so I'll just repeat it. High-performing people love to be around high-performing people. Second-rate people like to be around third-rate people because they go, I'm not as bad as they are. And they feel very uncomfortable being around high-performing people. So you're going to get people. And when you're out front, the only thing they can see is you're behind. And I hope that's not your best side. So two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to have those people. But number two, don't focus on them because you'll create it bigger in your mind than reality. So it's a balance you got to walk. Yeah, they're going to be there. There's nothing you can do to change them. They don't feel good about themselves. They're not going to feel good about anybody else. And they just want to put people down, and they want to be better than you by putting you down. But that's not the kind of person you're going to attract. You want to attract first-rate people. And by being a first-rate person, that's what you do. You're amazing, Tracy. You're incredible. I mean, when I think that what we've been through and talking to you, and you're first starting in the hospital bed and you're making decisions, and you're incredible. I mean, if anybody tells you that, you shouldn't tell you that. You got to remind yourself how incredible you are. Because then you don't need to worry about all the crap. Not that I say you don't look good from behind, don't get me wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Thank you. I got to remind myself I'm incredible. Thank you.
All right, I got a comment.
Go ahead.
What runs through my mind, Tracy, as you were sharing your story is, remember this. You took the time to create that curriculum, in my humble opinion, to improve the environment for you and the teachers, as well as the students. Please don't forget why you did what you did, regardless of their response and regardless of their reaction. And even as you go through the school year, remember, why did I take the time to expend all of this energy to put this together? I did it for a good reason, and I did it for a good cause. And let that be your fuel, and let that be your energy regardless of their responses and regardless of what goes on. And that's what'll keep you going, because as you said, you ain't getting it from them. And you know the students, they can be live. So you got to find a way to get what you need so you can be there every day, giving your best, and you always bring your best, and not let what they say and what they do in response to what you did hinder you or have you step back from it. Because what you've done and what you're trying to do, I think is fantastic. It's tremendous. And people like you need to keep fighting for that, because if you don't do it, Tracy, who is? And the scripture that comes to my mind as you were talking is, to whom much is given is much required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. More is going to be required of you because you can give more and you can give what others can, but you're going to pay a price for that. And I just say, hang in there, girl, and I'm going to keep you in my prayers.
And on top of that, you just created the first draft of what you're going to be marketing once you become an independent contractor.
That part.
All right, I gotta join this party.
Come on.
I gotta join this party. Here's what the beauty of this is. We're looking behind us and what everybody else is thinking and doing and saying. Look forward to the gift that you just created. And here's the thing. Implement it in your class and let the school watch your children be different and want to know what the heck is going on in that classroom. Because when you start getting acknowledgement, and even if you don't, you know what you've done, and those babies and their parents know what they've done, you won already. Don't worry about what's behind you. You got this. I'm so stupid proud of you right now. And you cannot let somebody else's ignorance impact your joy.
Wow. Thank you.
And most people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you.
Can I say something in these 3 P's that she's getting back? I want to say this, and I'm at work. I hope the noise is not too overwhelming, but I had to get in here and say this. Tracy, remembering that you are the power that people are looking to. That's 1. 2, that you are the reason why children are looking to do whatever they need to do whatever they believe they can do whatever they think they can do and have imagined in their minds to do. 3, you are the reason why these other aspects are coming to you. Remember, regardless of what's being said about what you attract, truth be told, when you're doing good, it attracts things that's coming to knock you off your level of whatever you're going to do or whatever you're attempting to do. Because if you're positive, negative is definitely going to come to try to tell you to be negative with us instead of being the positive that you are. So I want you to remember that. And 2, to add to that, remember that your positive is what can deflect whatever those negatives are that are coming to you to knock you off. Because regardless of what's coming, you still have a choice that is set before you. Now choose life. Just saying. And I love you. You're amazing to me.
Hey, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
No, Trace, I just wanted to add to that. Remember that you have the gift that only you can give. It is unique and powerful, and the world needs it.
Miss Tracy, is this your last year of teaching?
Well, my thoughts were, this is my 9th year. So I was like, well, since I'm doing 9, I might as well do 10. So I was thinking this year And then next year, which will be 10 years, which by then I feel like my professional speaking should be able to take over my salary. Now, the thing is, guys, and I know it's for the students, when I created this curriculum, my original thoughts were for the teachers. Like, ultimately, it's gonna go down to the students. But I was like, if we can get if we can get more teachers implementing more activities, implementing more of these skills, then we can touch and have a greater impact. And so that's why I'm like, okay, I got to reshape my focus, because that's was the original intent. It wasn't focused directly on the students. It was focused on helping teachers make it easier for the teachers. Because for me, when I did it, I thought about all the things that I hated about being a teacher: creating lesson plans, trying to find activities to do, trying to find worksheets that were not too easy but not too hard, trying to find videos to line up with your lesson. It's a lot that teachers have to do to come up with one day of instruction. And I was like, if I can do this for the teachers, that's going to help them. And at the same time, it's going to reflect and help the students. And so, like what you all said, I had to be reminded that there's going to be resistance. I love the way you said that, Miss Sandra, because when I put out the positive energy, the negative is going to come back. That is the way the universe works. And there were some teachers that were for it and they were down, and there was some that was not. But I have to remember that is the way life is going to be. But then, Ms. Adonia, thank you for that, because when I do whatever I do in my class, because I wanted more people to do it so that I could have more data results, because a lot of education is driven on data. And if I just have my class, say, and then I have them doing surveys, the beginning, the middle, of the end of the year, they can be able to see the growth socially and emotionally. But if I have more teachers saying, hey, yeah, my students grew too, then I believe the curriculum will be able to be driven more, and I could use it to go to other districts to try to promote it. But that's what I end up telling myself the first day. I said, you know what? If my district doesn't take it and run with it, it's okay. There's hundreds of other districts out there, or, in businesses and organizations that can use the same curriculum. And I'm also going to take it, like one of y'all said, that it's the rough draft, which is true, because I'm going to use this same curriculum and gear it towards adults for my online course. So thank you, guys. Glad I was able to come on. Appreciate y'all so much.
Tracy,
Yes.
I just want to be with you and hug you right now, because you don't even realize the power of what you're doing yet, because you're responding or reacting to what's not happening. It's just not happening yet. Do you know the best crowd that I can think of that you have? How many of these college kids are in school wanting to be teachers? They need you to say it's not easy, but let me find you or give you or support you or whatever with this curriculum to show you some of the challenges in my 9-10 years that I had, so I can take care of my students and learn to be a good teacher. You haven't even got started yet. Wait, you just wait. You're going to be overwhelmed by how good it is. You watch. Trust and believe, because you did it for the right reason.
Miss Adonia gave me chill.
Listen, and I was going to say, okay, so it's your 9th year. You said you're going to wait till year 10. Cool. When I knew I was getting ready to go, and I would come to the office and be telling Deanna and Antonio what happened at school, and while they was getting on my nerves and this and that, he was like, girl, what is you stressed out for? This is your farewell tour. If you don't calm down, this is your farewell tour. Whatever happens, you be like, you know what? Okay. You ain't want to do your homework? Okay. All right. You ain't want to study? Okay. All right. Y'all don't want to do the curriculum? Not a problem. It's your farewell tour. Okay. Even if it's 2 years in advance, it's your farewell tour, Tracy. You don't let nothing bother you in these last 2 years. I get it. It's easier said than done, but it is. Once you really stop and think about it, I was like, you know what? He's sure right. And once I calm down, all right, you right. All right, okay. Don't worry about it. I'll go do this curriculum. And like everybody been telling you, Mrs. Doya, hey, I'll do the curriculum. And when people will see what I'm doing, they will notice. And then your admins will notice, oh, okay, what's she doing over here? Let me see. Yeah. So just let it ride. Let it ride, Tracy.
And Grace, you're still teaching.
Hello. You just not in the classes.
And Antonio said the reason why they acting how they acting, Tracy, is because you're supposed to stay in your place. How dare you be better than your colleagues who know better than you?
Oh, okay, wait a minute. First of all, wait a minute. Now, let me tell y'all, okay, I don't know what's the deal with him because let me tell you, that's the same thing that Jamal told me when I told him what was going on. Because y'all know I tell him everything. And literally that he was like, well, that's because your colleagues are looking at you like, how dare yes. That's what he said. He was like, how dare you go and do all of this stuff over the summer? You created a whole curriculum. You ain't supposed to be doing that. You supposed to be doing the same thing we doing during the summer. And you coming and bringing all of this to us. Like, how dare you? And I was like, man, they don't look at it like that, but it's like, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay.
And along with what Mr. Donya said, Uncle Romy Rome said, Mr. Phil said, what everybody said, Tracy, do you realize that you don't have to teach students anymore? You can get out the classroom and teach the teachers.
And yes, sell that curriculum.
And then you're touching more students by teaching the teachers how to be emotionally intelligent, because they're going to pass that on to their students. They're going to be memorable to their students and change their students' lives.
Exactly. That's my goal.
Can I ask that? The district, by seeing what you're doing, they may add the curriculum and say that this may be mandatory for them, for teachers to implement in their curriculum.
It's coming because I'm telling you, when they see how good it is, she's not gonna have to beg for it. They're gonna say, "Give me, girl." If you don't, I'm coming. I'm up sitting in your classroom. I'm coming.
And you saving the money too? You saving the money because it's cheaper? Hello.
She's saving money and time. Teachers people don't give our teachers enough credit. Their lives don't stop when the classroom bell rings. They got to think of what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, the tests that they have to take, which child is having issues that come to school, don't want to learn, giving them hell. And then they got home and deal with their own households and stuff. It's a diamond. It is a diamond in the rough. Keep polishing it, girl. It's going to shine.
And play around with
it. Don't charge less. Don't charge less. Keep your fees up there. Don't make it cheaper. Make it better. What's going to happen at the end of this year? They're going to go, boy, Tracy's kids are different. Wonder what she's doing. They're just different.
They just different. Look, and then Antonio said they don't like you behaving like a superintendent. They like you being a teacher.
You better talk.
You came in implementing stuff to change the lives of the kids. Now, I forgot who he is. He already turning the library into like an indoor prison for I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's facts. It's in HISD.
Yeah.
They've got rid of all of the librarians, and they've turned the libraries into behavioral centers for the students who don't act right in class. For those that's not in Houston.
and guess which schools, guess which type of schools those are for. Not the ones with the kids that look like Mr. Phil.
It's not.
So the last thing they want is to have to deal with those kids. And what Tracy is implementing is them having to deal with them kids.
That's pretty much what it is.
That's the
Tracy, you got to remember, you start off with, and I have this problem too. You're just too good looking. So already they're already putting a check next to you. I know that problem.
How always the feel?
You
Tracy, you're doing too much, Tracy. You look good. You act like you know what you're doing, and you're doing too much over the summer, making the teachers look bad. You're supposed to stay a teacher. You're doing too much, Tracy.
and well, okay. Well, no, because I'm thinking about last week how, like, because I presented it to my team at my school first. And then when we had to meet with the district, all the teachers that teach the same subject for our district, I presented it. And there was some new teachers in there to this subject. And when I presented it to them, they were like, oh, yeah, this is good, right? And then I actually did have the opportunity to talk to the administrative district person who's over our department, the one who just pops into the classes to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. And what she said was, send it to her so that she can approve it to make sure that I'm not teaching something and a parent call and say it's not. But my only concern with that now is what Mr. Field just said, because when I mentioned it in the class with the other district teachers, they were talking about the money. And if somebody said that, one of the other schools, they said, well, they could be paying you for this curriculum. And I was like, yeah, they could. I had already thought about that. But then I didn't want to send them over the curriculum without having the monetization part right. Also, and I didn't want them to be like, oh, okay, we're gonna just take it and use it as our own without the. So there's some work, like Ms. Sodonia was saying, polish it up and get it, ready. That's what I'm gonna be doing in the background. But yeah, and
Tracy,
I got to make
sure you put your name and everything all over it and your logo, so that it shows everything about you on there.
Okay.
Every stuff you have. And the one thing about teaching these days, because so many people, especially during the pandemic, exited, and then a lot didn't want to come back. They'd had it. So they're always looking for teachers right now. So everything in that industry is stressed.
So I actually know a teacher who sold a program similar to yours to one of the school districts, and they wrote her a check for 3 years. So right now she is accessing other districts that she can sell her program to. So if they don't want to teach it, you take the money for it. When they write that check, they don't write it based on the school year. They purchase it for 3 years. And if they need any other items like workbooks or whatever, they come directly to you.
Yeah, you need to study the different business models they are doing that.
Just a thought.
Yes,
because they're
that's
going
a
to
great
fight
thought.
something that's going to be improvement in how they're trying to imprison the kids in the school.
And this generation needs it more than ever before, thanks to the pandemic. I mean, think of us if we were in school.
I don't hear nothing Phil is saying. Mr. Phil, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can the rest of you hear me?
Can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear you fine.
Janae, your stuff jacked up.
You can give me that button. I'll take that button not to hear him. Ha ha.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh out loud. I'm so sorry.
Hey, sometimes I don't want to hear me. But Tracy, what you're doing for this generation is unbelievable, because think about us. Think if we were kids and had to go through this pandemic, how would that have impacted us? I mean, just the fear and the questioning and the not sure. I mean, we had enough of that anyway without having this layered all on top of it. So what you're presenting is life-changing. It's truly going to make a difference.
And what I just heard in my spirit, what you just said, it's truly going to make a difference. That's why the enemy is pressing back so hard. Because if it wasn't going to make a difference and have a big impact, it would be a lot easier to get it out there. But because, oh, thank you. All right, y'all. I just took over the conversation. Get back to the topic, Deanna. There you go.
No,
Make a
you
positive
Bless
difference.
everybody, Tracy. You just bless everybody. Because we all got to stay hungry for what we supposed to be doing, because everybody on here has a program, has something that's going to revolutionize this whole world, and we can't be sitting on it. The fact that you was working on your legacy while them other teachers, while them other birds was just over there just chilling at home and they wasn't doing nothing for their legacy, and you out here working it, doing what you're supposed to do, you know you're going to be rewarded because you done put in the work. And when you put in the work, everything, all them fruits is going to come right out of it. So girl, you just found your first clients. Do not underestimate yourself. You are doing it, and we all are sitting on something, and we all can be like, okay, all right, because that just inspired me. I'm like, okay, all right, because every day I feel like, okay, I see stuff at the job and I'm like, no, January 2nd is coming, and that's my day. So Tracy, I'm just proud, and you have just lit a fire, and I got work to do, but excellent. Do not underestimate. Awesome, powerful.
And Tracy, you did not take over the class. What you did was prove everything that we've been talking about. We've been talking about transcending inconsistency. You hit an inconsistency, and I mean, and you kept moving. You came to your community. You basically, all we did for you was confirm what you already knew. You knew you had it. You knew it. You just dealing with them low level. I'm sorry, that's not nice of me to say. I'm gonna use Renee's words. You just dealing with them birds.
And I want to, let me go back, and I want to give kudos and praise where praise is due, because the stuff that I did for this, I know that without this community, and let me just talk about the lessons that I took from the teachings of building with Antonio T. Smith Jr. I created this curriculum with the resource of ChatGPT assisting, with the assisting of being able to create. I don't know if y'all remember, but there was some lessons a couple of weeks ago, no, last month, that he taught about okay. I created landing pages, guys. I created links to go inside. So I had never knew how to do this. And there was always that knowledge gap of how, like, I created the whole curriculum in like Google Drive, just got it all typed up, got it all organized. And then I was like, what do I do with this? I have it here. And I don't know if y'all remember one class, I said, how do you take this from words from ChatGPT and put it in slides? And then I went and found an AI program for that learned how to put it in the slides. So I even have slides for the teachers to show as they're presenting. Then I said, okay, I learned from the class how to link, take from the links and link it to this whole one thing, so that when you go into the landing page, it has all of the skills, but then you click on that link and it takes you to another page that breaks down all of the lessons. When you click into that lesson, it'll take you to all of the things you need for that day. And I'm going to just say that I know without going through this class that, and these morning meetings, that I don't know if I would have ever learned how to do it or ever knew what to do. Because when we were literally in the meeting on Friday, and somebody was like, hey, any of y'all use AI? And I'm looking at these people and they're like two people. I was like, I use Chat GPT all the time. And they were like, what's Chat GPT? And I'm like, are you serious? You still don't know what Chat GPT is? And we done been doing Chat GPT since like September, October. So being ahead of the curve is the other thing. And I would say this class has helped me be ahead of the curve. So I guess that's why they didn't expect me to come in looking, they expect me to come in looking like a regular teacher. But with going through these classes and having accountability partner to tell me to keep my butt going, that's helped me grow. So that's my answer to the question, which is about how has this journey helped and how have I grown? Those are some things that I could take away. Have a good one, y'all.
Oh, real quick, Trisha, before you go, what time you get off work today?
I'm off.
I'm gonna call you today. I'm gonna call you. All right.
Can I say this to you, Tracy, real quick?
Yes.
Okay. You ready? Okay. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see, so you could truly see. You're a shining star. Yeah, and you know the rest.
Thank you, Miss Andrew. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tracy, so much for your transparency. And we are all inspired by you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the connotation, Mr. Phil. We are very inspired by you. I want to thank y'all so much. Y'all have made this so fun for me and so exciting. Grace, if you can please grace us with what we are doing later tonight.
All right, I'm about to pass it over to the baddest trainers in the land, okay, all the way from sunny Florida, the original award-winning Huber Consultants, because tonight we are having at 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, we are having Let's Study a Book, and there is a new book on the horizon. I'm gonna pass it over to Mr. Phil so he can tell you more.
Yes, our last one. It's here someplace. Wait, I got to find out what pile. There it is, right in that pile. I look. We just finished The Politics of Love, which you either get the book or listen to the recordings. We recorded it. We got it on there. It's available to you if you want to listen to it. And this is the Marianne Williamson, who's running for president of the United States. And then what brought her to this was a book called A Return to Love. This is the book that brought her preeminence. This is the book that Oprah read and brought her to her, put her on the show with her. And it's A Return to Love, Reflection on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. And A Course in Miracles, where is that? It's here. This is the Course in Miracles. So I said, do we want to do this? Or do we want to do Marianne talking about how she taught this? And that's what we're starting tonight. And the first chapter is, you ready? Everybody ready? Hell.
That's appropriate. Love it, love it, love it. 409. Oh, I know who this is. Hold on. All right. Okay. So we know what we're doing tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Phil. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I will be on the call, but on the road.
Also, we've got wins and challenges too tonight.
Yes. So please, everyone who's here now, be on for wins and challenges at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's Study a Book is at 5:30 Central Standard Time. I will be on the call, but I won't be on camera. I will be on the road coming from Meet the Teacher. So, but I will be present. Go ahead, Trinace.
Iana, I emailed you.
Okay.
You looped in, girl. You looped in.
Oh, thank you, Trinace, for bringing that up. I want to, so over the weekend, I'm just inconsistencies in transparency, vulnerability. my growth process, I had to understand something with what I want to do. You have to do things that are out of your comfort zone. While I sit here and I talk to y'all in the mornings, I've been doing that for years. So that's in my comfort zone. Well, over the weekend, I got asked to do 2 speaking events. And the first one, I waited 2 days to respond to. Before I spoke to Trinace, I waited 2 days. I responded to both her and this gentleman in the same day. But I told Antonio 2 days later, after the first one, I said, yeah, you know, we gonna be the same people that asked you to speak at that conference, you know, they backdoored and came to me. He was like, okay, so what's the problem? I said, well, you know, he sent it 2 days ago. Oh, no, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
You're not going nowhere until this is answered, until you go respond. After responding to that, I got on the phone with Trinace, who messaged me the night before. I was like, hey, I want to talk to you. Well, okay. What time's good for you? Well, I'm on with Antonio now, but you know, well, I called her and she was in church. So my bad, Trinace. I forgot. Not everybody had the same schedule I have. And so I'm talking to Trinace and she asked me to be a part of her wonderful event for mothers and daughters, which I'm extremely excited about because I understand the importance of that relationship and how it can make and break people. And had I not said yes, had Antonio not told me say yes to that, I told Antonio straight up, I said, I wouldn't have said yes. Because first off, my self-sabotager was loud. She was like, Heifer, we ain't doing this. What you talking about? Don't teach somebody else. We ain't doing that. And then it was an inconsistency for me because I teach for Antonio all the time. I can do that. I know y'all. I don't know these other people. So
Just
now
think of us in the audience. Just think it's all of us. But
They will be your new friends. They will be your new friends.
Yeah, you're a natural, Deanna. I mean, it just flows naturally from you. It's effortless for you. And you know, people can respond to that, and you know, you're not stiff and uneasy and you know, have hand stuff to say. You speak from the heart, and you're very knowledgeable. So you really should be doing this, and just you're going to do outstanding. Just be yourself. Don't do anything different than what you're doing.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Miss Susan. Y'all, Miss Susan is my other mama. I just want to let everyone know Miss Susan is my other mama.
But also prepare.
Yes, sir. Trust
Any
me.
athlete, no matter how skilled an athlete is, they prepare themselves for the game. So make sure you prepare.
Yes, sir. And Antonio, trust me, Antonio has already sat down with me. He said, okay, so what you want to talk about? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Let me jump in and just say this one thing for a few seconds. She's spoken under my brand in conferences for famous people hundreds of times. And then, of course, on the calls, hundreds of thousands of times. This is a great testament of when you're no longer known for being under Exxon or at your job and you go try to be an entrepreneur and sales get harder because you no longer work for Coca-Cola, a known brand, you work for yourself. This is what she's going through because the people asking her to speak are her brand, for her legacy, for her own merits. So let that be a warning to all of you. No matter how much you do something, when it's you, and if you fail, it's on you. And if you win, it's on you. That's a hell of a place to be. I'm done.
Yeah, Antonio, when we would get a call and they were looking for a speaker, or when we got the call, they were looking for Phil Sorrentino. 2 completely different conversations.
That's absolute fact. That was well said.
And remember, Deanna, we have this Oh, sorry, Antonio.
No, I was just still agreeing. You go ahead.
Well, Deanna, we have this class on Tuesday night called the Bureau of Influential Speakers. It's a great place for you to come in and practice and in front of your peers here, people that love you and know you.
I love it.
And can I tell you this,
Susan,
Deanna?
you sound like Phil.
Please, God help me.
I just want to say one thing to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna get everything you need out of it. Everything. And that is you're a genius maker. A genius creator. Now that's on fleek. Period.
Thank you.
And the subtitle of the
Sounded
book
like
that
you
we're going to
just
cover
sang.
together, the subtitle of the book that we're going to cover together, How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, subtitle, 7 Steps to Genius Every Day.
Yes, I read
You,
that.
me, and Don are going to be doing the, us 3 are going to be studying this book together.
Yes.
We'll invite other people if they want to join us.
Yeah, well, we'll share if they want to, but
I'm in that too.
Yes, you are, Miss Susan. Go ahead, Antonio.
Wednesday nights are open.
They are.
Oh, just want to say when Phil said, hey, looking for a speaker, and hey, looking for Phil Sorrentino, that's got to be the most accurate thing that I've heard all year, because those are 2 different conversations. And that's 2 people looking for Deanna, not Antonio, not a speaker, not Antonio's friend, not Antonio's wife, Deanna specifically. That's pressure. And boy, that's a great place to live life.
Man. Y'all know, and I was talking to Antonio because Antonio told me, he said, that's your law of attraction, right? Because I ain't had nothing to do with that. And what dawned to me when Antonio told us gasoline make the car run, but you wouldn't bathe in it because it stink. It's the stinky stuff that makes stuff work. To be on a stage in front of people scares the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie. It still does to this day. There's times I get in front of y'all and I'm still nervous.
But wear a diaper then.
You sure right. And they do make them for adults. Thank you, Mr. Field. But what dawned on me was my law of attraction and what I desire to do in the world requires me to stand on a stage, requires me to be in front of an audience and speak. So I am wonderfully, nervously hitting this inconsistency full on with gratitude, happiness, and joy. I'm grateful because it started with y'all. My very first keynote outside of teaching marketing was on the Bureau of Influential Individuals. And I'm grateful because Antonio has pushed me so much to where I have no choice but to be me. Like, if it wasn't for Antonio, y'all would get my representative 24/7. But my representative is, we are one. I no longer need her to represent me anymore. I be telling her, look, I'm gonna need you to step back, okay? Yeah. I had a full conversation with her last week. And this week, I'm grateful for y'all. I really am. Y'all encourage me, push me, see stuff in me. And then here come Antonio just saying, hey, I know what you can do, go do it. And I'm like, no, I can't. Yes, you can, go do it. I can't do that. Yes, you can, go do it. But so I just want to say I'm grateful. And please know that everything that I talk to you guys about, I'm actively practicing, been there, done that, got through it, or I'm going through it and figuring it out. So I want to thank all of you because y'all have been my family every step of the way. And y'all have been my village. And blood is not thicker than water. Water flows more freely to me. And I'm grateful for y'all being my water. So thank you. So I'm excited.
Jay said that water is spirit. That's why. There we go.
So come on, my spirits. My spirits. Not the liquor, the other. You got your wines and your spirits. But no, I just want to thank y'all. And I want y'all to see that it works. Law of attraction is real. Law of attraction works. And when you worry about yourself and clean your own house, you make room for other stuff to happen. So y'all keep making room. Talisha, keep making room. Tracy, keep making room. Trinace, keep making room. Renee, everybody keep making room. I love y'all. You can plant better. You can dominate. We'll see you tonight at 5:30 and at 7. Love you all.
Love you
Love you more.
Love you guys. Thank you all. Have a good week.
Love you
Keep
more.
winning, girl.